Hey up, welcome back to the Man Cave Workshop, and thank you so much for joining me again. Okay, we've got another radio on the bench, and this one I picked up at a car boot sale. Just saw it on one of the stalls and thought, oh, I've never seen one of them before. So I thought I'd bring it home and have a look at it. Now, it's on the front, it says Wien H, and as you can see, it's a mains set. It's got volume. There's no on and off unless there is. It's got a UKW frequency, which I take as FM, and medium wave, unless that's AM. I don't know. It looks like FM to me, the way the numbers and this MHZ is on it, whatever that all that gobbledygooch means. And here it says sender, so that's the tuning knob. Now I've had a look on the internet, and again, this radio I can find very little details on it. If I just get this tablet into view, Radio Museum do list it. Let's move the radio back, then you can see. So they have got one here, and it says it's got 9 transistors. Where was the bits I was looking at about a bit of the history? I'm sure it said it was done in, there we go, 1972, but then there's 2 question marks. And it says country is Germany. Now I've had a quick look. Oh, schematic, we have none. Again, a radio with no schematic. Back to the picture again. Let me just get this fired up again. What I did notice on this picture, so even though there's no schematic, it's handy to have. On this picture, not only has it got that badge on it, but it's got 2 little feet at the bottom there that this one hasn't got. This one looks a bit sorry for itself. Some of the veneers come off it. It's got a label on there. This knob's broke. It's missing. I have got another one of them, these little discs that go on the front of the knobs. It has one, but it's missing another one. The interesting thing in this, when I looked at the back, and I haven't opened it yet, I can zoom you in a bit. It says there, made in Japan. So I do think it's an FM set because of this wire sticking out back. So it says there, made in Japan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pause while I get the camera set up, and we'll take the back off and have a look at it. I'm not going to plug it in. I don't know if it works, but with a main set, I don't like plugging them in. We'll do a visual inspection on the inside of it. We'll inspect the case, and basically that's what this video is going to be about, just having a look at it. Perhaps get the chassis out and have a look at all the whatever's inside it. So, okay. Right, okay, I paused that. I've got screwdrivers right next to me. So it's got these tiny little screws here. So we're going to pull these out, put them to one side and lose them. Actually, touch wood, I haven't lost anything in this new environment yet, but it will happen. I haven't lost anything because there's not much gone in here, so there's no other junk around for it to get lost amongst. Let's get these screws out. Again, apologies if you can hear knocking and all sorts of stuff going on in the background. Having some the building work's being done. So, does this just pull off now? Yeah, there we go. Let's get that out. Oh, now then. Look at that. Now, to me, that's interesting, because when it said made in Japan, I thought, I wonder if it's fairly a recent radio, not 1972. But looking at the guts, it does look like it's not got a modern boarding with a chip on it anyway. looking at some of the components immediately. These caps don't look particularly old, but I mean, that resistor looks a little bit old there. So could it be 1972? Maybe. Quite possibly, actually. Right, let's get the knobs off the front. Blimey, I'm surprised that is even still on it. Because that came off so easy. Let's put these on one side. We'll lose them as well. That's coming off easy as well. Wow, how they have stayed with the set. They were literally just pull them off, no struggle at all. And let's see how we get this chassis out. Tell you what, before we carry on, let's have a look at the case. So underneath you see where what I mentioned earlier on about the legs must be. Oh, there's a huge chip out of it here, and it's actually all solid. I mean that there's no like tracks or anything. There's a bit of a sticky label on top. That's no bother. But this is interesting, isn't it? That it's chipped. Well, interesting. It's a pain. I wish it wasn't, but we're gonna have to do something about that if we can get the set working. It looks like there is a grill cloth behind this sort of cut out speaker grill. I don't know if that's fixed. I'm not sure. Anyway, let me pause. I'm saying I'm pausing because I've got no information on this. Again, I'm just going to inspect how to get the chassis out of the case, and then we'll see how we do that. Okay, so looking at it, there's been like a wax mark on it, and this is obviously never. All the fixing points seem to have a wax mark, and this has obviously never been out of the case. So there's a couple of screws here. One at the top over here, you probably can't see that, and there's one down there, there's one in the middle button, and then there's these two like nuts here. So I'll get a socket, see if we can get them nuts off. I've measured it before on camera. See if we can't get them out. Not sure if you can see what's going on here, but oh, that's don't want to come off. Oh, it will do. Yeah, we'll get them out. We'll just struggle here. I'm struggling because the camera's in the way mainly. Let me get you at an angle so you can see. I'm just putting that in and just turning it by hand. I don't know if I've got. I think I lost the. It's like a screwdriver head that goes in there. So let's put that down, see if these come off easily. And behind them it feels like there's some spacers and washers. Have we got the right screwdriver? Kind of. Oh, they'll come off easily enough. So I'll do. I'll undo these. We'll get them all loose and take the last one out, and then we'll pull the chassis out. Okay. Now I've just had a good look, and I'm not sure if that needs to come out or not. That nut down there. So what we'll do, we'll just do all the screws in it. I've just knocked one of the knobs off onto the floor. I better put them somewhere safe because I'm going to lose everything. I'll get this jar here, stick all the screws and bits and bats in. Pop that knob in as well. Okay. Right, so I'll unscrew these just where these marks are and see if the chassis will come out. Right, okay, we've got all the screws out, and they are tiny little things. So let's put them in a jar. And when I pull the last one out, there's 1, 2, 3, 5 of them. When I pull the last one out, the whole chassis moves. So I don't think that nut down there does anything. So let's have a go. Lifting it. Oh no, the speaker stays in place, so I'll have to be careful depending on how much wire there is, and there isn't a great deal, to be honest. So they look like they're connected to that. There's an output transformer there. Have we got enough wire to get it out? Barely enough. I'm pulling it out because I want to pull it out anyway. Oh, they're soldered in there. I want to pull it out anyway because of the work we're going to have to do on the case, even if we do no electrical work on the actual set. But I'm looking at it now, there's some great big components in there that I can see that you can't see yet on the underboard. So what I'm going to do now is, I always forget this, I'm going to plug the solder iron in and just disconnect the speaker, then we can get the chassis completely out. Right, okay, the soldering iron is warmed up now. What we're going to do, usually I disconnect from the speaker on, I think, every single radio I've worked on in the past. But this time I'm going to, because the leads are so short, I'm going to disconnect from the output transformer end here. Before I do that, I'm just going to put a little marker. Not that it matters, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just going to put a black dot on that side so I know where the black wire went. Get the soldering iron, see if we can get these off without, if we have to cut them, we have to cut them. Let's get you, whoop, I'm going to drop the camera here, sorry about the wobbly effect. Oh, I didn't clean that solder iron last time I used it. Let's get a bit of heat on these, see if they'll come. Oh, that came off easy. And same on this one. I don't want to put too much. This one's not going to come off, is it? So, oh yeah, came off easy. So that done, we should, let me move you out again. We should be able to successfully take this chassis out and have a good look at it. Anything else holding it? No. There we go. Let's have a look inside the case. Are they going to fall down? No, they're fixed. So that's the inside of the case, little speaker. Okay, let's move that on one side. I doubt we'll lose that because it's big. Let's have a look at this chassis. Let's get this in view. Let's get you moved in a little bit more. Let's get the ginger beer on the go as well. So let's have a look at this chassis. It's all there. These capacitors don't look old. Just doing a good inspection on it. It's always good to do a visual inspection. Now I'm interested in, no schematic, where, I don't know why, I'm always interested in where the power hits the first capacitor. Because after doing the last radio, after a few radios, I think it's important to, oh look at them big boys in there. It's important to test them to safeguard the radio. It's nice dial cord, let's see how that works. It's got it notches a little bit. Is that because, did I start? Yes, I started to undo this, didn't I? Let's tighten that back up before we have any mishappenings with that. Is that just turning it? Oh yeah, that's just turning it, so yeah, that'll be fine. Let's have a look at these two boards. Yeah, the tuning gang looks okay, all the fins look straight. Bit of dust in there, there's no bulging, nothing like that. If you know anything about this radio, do drop me a line in the comments, especially if you know anything critical I should be looking out for. And I think in the next video, looking at the condition of that, we're playing with mains as well. I think we'll test it. I think we'll get some test leads up to connect that speaker, because I don't have a workshop speaker anymore. I used to have one hanging about just for testing. It's always better to go higher ohms with a speaker than lower when you're testing a set. You can read the value of the speaker. If you go lower, you can put, I think that's right. Is that a burn there? Oh no, it's just a splodge of that wax they put on the screws that secure it in. Yeah, interesting. I've never ever seen one of these before. Now looking at the size of that, I think if I do have to change this cap, which is an 80 or 150 WV, might just be volts. I've never seen that before either. We move this slightly. I think if we have to change that, I think I'll restuff that if it's out of. We test it if we test it and it's out of spec. So if you want to follow on with this video, then I'll be doing a bit of a series on it. It might well be, looking at the insides there's nothing burnt or anything. It might well be another cosmetic restore, I'm afraid, because I don't like changing components just for the hell of it. Obviously, if they're broke or worn out or well out of spec, I'll gladly change them then. But I don't know where this main power goes. I don't think that's it. I think the main power goes into this board. Might pull this board off and check out a few of these caps. But all that'll be done in the next video. So for now, a bit of a boring video, I suppose. Just watching me take a chassis out of a radio. For now, I'm going to do more. I just want to check this plug's got a decent fuse in it and it's all wired up correctly. It's a red plug. Not keen on red plugs, but if this was original to the set, I don't know, it'll stay with it. Let's get this out. Let's just check the wiring in here. Always good to do this before you put power to it, which I will be doing in the next video. Can't see the value of that fuse. We can test if that fuse is still okay. See if it's blown the fuse or anything. Getting used to this new meter. Not as good as the Fluke I used to have, but it does its job. So, continuity test on this. It hasn't got a speaker on it. Where will the continuity test be? I should imagine it'll be that diode symbol there. So it says 1, touch these, we get a reading, we get a number, but no beep. I'll get 0 there. So yeah, most multimeters, it doesn't say continuity or anything like that, but if you see a diode symbol, that's your continuity test setting. Okay, let's pop these on. Did we get a reading then? Yep, so the fuse is good. Look at that. When I take it off, it goes to 1. Touch either end, it goes to 0. So that fuse is good. All looks wired up okay. There's no earth on the set, but I'm saying I haven't a clue why there's no earth on the set. It's is it a live chassis then? Might be a live chassis. I keep forgetting things. I used to know quite a bit more stuff than I tend to have forgotten a lot of stuff now. But we're on an isolation transformer to all the power to this bench, so we should be good. Yeah, I think we'll test it next video. So for now, thank you very much for joining me. As always, be good to each other, and if you're interested in this radio, I'll catch you on the next video.